Hey, what's up? It's Jim, and today I'm going to talk about Best Original Musical or Comedy Score. Now, this isn't the name of a movie, and it's not really a review of anything. I wanted to talk about a specific category that the Oscars had and sort of the history behind it, because as I was researching the Oscars for my Oscar breakdown video, I sort of found this out and thought it was really interesting. I was like, I never knew the history behind this, and I never really thought about this category. It only existed for 4 years, really. It's kind of silly, the whole thing, frankly. Basically, the Oscars have Best Original Score, or Best Original Musical Score, or so forth, and they've changed that over the years. They've had different subcategories, like second categories, like Prince for Purple Rain didn't actually win for Best Original Score. He won for Best Original Song Score. They've had Best Original Score and its adaptation. They've had Best Scoring of a Musical Picture, which was from 1942 to 1962. They've had various different names for various different kinds of scores, and they've done that based on genre. And it's the only time the Oscars really have a different award based on genre. Now, obviously, foreign film and animated film is not a genre, and I'm not talking about that thing. But with this specifically, and this actually ties into animation, believe it or not, what happened is really the Disney Renaissance happened, and the scores from Alan Menken, and everyone felt that Alan Menken and Disney were winning too many Best Original Score Oscars. Basically, Alan Menken kept winning. He won for The Little Mermaid in 1989, he won for Beauty and the Beast in 1991, he won for Aladdin in 1992, and Disney won in 1994 for Lion King. That was Hans Zimmer, not Alan Menken. But basically still, Disney was winning a lot. And the Oscars considered this sort of a issue, which is odd. 2 films won between those Disney winning everything, one being Dances with Wolves, and the other being John Williams' score for Schindler's List. Other films did win. They were just going to this logical extreme for some reason. Apparently, the chairman of the Academy's music branch said this quote, according to Wikipedia, people were voting for the songs, not the underscores. We felt that the Academy members outside the music branch didn't distinguish between the two. So when a score like The Lion King is competing against a drama like Forrest Gump, it's apples and oranges, not in the quality of the score, but in the way it functions in the movie. There's a big difference. Now, I agree, not all music is the same, but it just seems like, one, that's a weird sword to die on. Like, you're gonna conquer that hill and be like, no, but Forrest Gump not winning is the fucking end. I'm like, dude, I really don't get it. But there was kind of some interesting things about this category that only existed in 1996, 97, 98, and 99. First off, that not only a musical could win, but a comedy score could win, which doesn't really happen all that much anyway. That's sort of what did happen, except for the first year, which went to Pocahontas and Alan Menken and Stephen Schwartz, which kind of made it look like that this category was working out for the most part and serving its function. I guess they assumed the Disney Renaissance would go on forever, and much like grunge music and most of what we believed in the 90s, it did not. That seemed to be Disney's last kind of big Disney animated win, was for the first time this category was invented. So it seems like, I don't know, I find it to be so odd that people were clearly annoyed with how Disney could just keep winning because of the songs and stuff, and they didn't like how their traditional kind of film scores were losing based on this, because it's like, yes, but the scores in Aladdin and The Little Mermaid and Beauty and the Beast and Lion King are all really great. I don't remember Pocahontas' score all that well, but I don't think it was just the songs. I just think like that's what the other composers said to their friends when they lost, but whatever. So Pocahontas won the first year, but then something really cool happened is when Emma, the film with Gwyneth Paltrow, which I'm sure you all remember, it was the first time a female composer had ever won. That was Rachel Portman, which is pretty amazing. And actually the second time a female composer won was the following year for The Full Monty with Anne Dudley. So this actually served a pretty cool purpose in that it was, kind of breaking down doors for female composers in making film scores, and that 2 female composers would then get Oscars for both Emma and The Full Monty. And then Shakespeare in Love won from Stephen Warbeck, which is a little less notable because like the music in that movie. But all right, guys, it's sort of interesting to me that they were so threatened by the Disney Renaissance that they had to do this. Like, that is frankly ridiculous to me, but I found it kind of an interesting little trivia thing, because I've never heard of a studio being controlling of one category so much that the Oscars felt that they needed to make a separate category so other film composers could avoid that studio. That has never happened before. It has never happened since. And there's been times they felt they needed to do that because of musicals and other certain things. But this was fairly unique, that's how omnipresent people felt the Disney Renaissance was at the time, is that they needed to make a separate category so, their more serious live action films could win. And by the way, this is especially shitty considering that there was not a Best Animated Feature category, so this is pretty much the one Oscar that their animated films had to win, and they just sort of couldn't let them have it. They had to find a way for the live action films to still get another Best Original Score kind of Oscar, in spite of Disney's dominance of it. It's sort of an interesting little side note, footnote in Academy history that I was just interested in and sort of wanted to share with you and tell you my opinions on. I hope you'd enjoy this. I don't think I'm going to have any other videos like this. It's just sort of something that caught my interest and I wanted to make a video on, and thus here we are. I'm talking about Best Original Musical or Comedy Score and its long history of it. I will provide the one link I used that wasn't just the Wikipedia page for Best Original Score. There wasn't really a lot on this I could find on the internet, but yeah, so if you would like to tell me what you thought of Best Original Musical or Comedy Score, or how nobody cares about this or something like that, then comment below in the comments and subscribe if you would like to.